So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
I'm not gonna lie, the recent Flash trailer is probably the best DC trailer I've seen in ages, and I couldn't help but wonder about time becoming Barry's most dangerous enemy. But most importantly, why does the threat look so big that he needs two Batmen to save the day? Well, it's pretty obvious what the movie is gonna be based on.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere.
Yep, you guessed it. The Flash is clearly based on the popular 2011 comic book named Flashpoint, whose plot was also used to make the 2013 animated movie Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox and the third season of the CW's The Flash. And for those who are still figuring out what's going to happen in this year's long-awaited Flash movie, Barry, played by Ezra Miller, will go back in time, either by accident or on purpose.
I created a world with no metahumans, and now there's no one to defend us.
And, well, he's going to change the entirety of the DCEU. In this case, he stops the terrible accident that framed his father for the murder of his wife. But if there's one thing that all versions of the Flashpoint story have in common, it's that messing with time can have big, unforeseen circumstances. And with such a massive thing to deal with, he needs all of the help he can get from the two Batmen.
You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
In the trailer, Barry's interference leads him to face a younger version of himself, and based on how often fans see old Barry and young Barry talking to each other, it seems like Miller is playing two different roles for most of the movie. But what makes Flashpoint as a plot device so unique? When Barry wakes up in his new reality, he no longer has his speed. Judging from the trailer, it's hard to tell if this arc stays the same, but I wouldn't be surprised if Barry trying to get his speed back is a big part of the plot. In fact, lightning strikes both Barrys in one shot, which suggests they might be working together to reenact the original Speed Force accident to get his speed back, or get twice as fast. But in any case, it looks like both Barrys will be fast enough for the final showdown, since a majestic shot in the trailer shows red and blue speedsters coming together. But while the trailer showed fans more than they can handle, I think the Flash may be going with a different Flashpoint approach. Fans saw General Zod and his army of Kryptonians start to attack Earth, and this confirms the surprise return of Michael Shannon's General Zod to the DCEU for this movie.
Zod, we've been waiting for you.
This means Barry has basically stumbled into the events of Man of Steel, but this time Superman isn't there to save the world. Now Earth has to make do with two speedsters who may or may not be that fast, and one old, grumpy Batman, but I'll get to him later. Barry's messing with time doesn't just affect his family, it also has ripple effects that change the past and the future. And most of the metahuman heroes fans know from the main DCEU don't seem to be in this new timeline.
This can't be happening. I completely broke the universe.
But fans do see a flying girl, which is another big timeline change by Barry Allen. You see, in this version of the Flashpoint Paradox, Kara Zor-El crashed on Earth instead of her cousin Kal-El, and instead of living with a nice couple in Kansas, it seems like she may have been locked up in a Russian facility. This was a clear nod to the alternate universe comic Superman Red Son or the Red Daughter storyline from the CW's Supergirl. And if that's the case, everyone's favorite heroes might have to worry about Supergirl than General Zod. But I don't think this is entirely Barry's fault. If you remember, Kal-El briefly mentions a Kryptonian who got away from the ship in 2013's Man of Steel, and I think the one who got away might be none other than his cousin, Supergirl.
My name is Kara.
I'm
Well,
Barry.
we're Barry. Barry, what are you doing?
Our kids are gonna want to see this.
Does that mean Kara already exists in the normal DCEU, but might still be in a dark prison cell? Who cares anymore? We're getting a new DCU. But even though she's very strong, there's no way she's ready to fight Zod right away, mainly because she's been locked away from the sun for so long. So who's experienced enough to save the world from Zod without Superman in it?
Wait! Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
Well, that brings me to the tale of the two Batmen. Even though it's not a Batman movie, The Flash surely seems to have the Dark Knight's influence. But let's be honest here, while Batfleck's appearance in the trailer was surprising for me, it was nowhere near Michael Keaton's old grunge Batman. The trailer doesn't show us much of Affleck's Batman, probably because his Batman is the one we'll see at the beginning of the movie before Barry changes the past.
How many people are on this special fight team?
3.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Batfleck's gear also looks upgraded as fans saw his motorcycle, which looks and sounds a lot like Christian Bale's Batpod. On top of this, his armored outfit looks like a slicker version of the tactical suit from Justice League, but the blue cape and cowl was refreshing to see live action. This makes me hopeful that I'll get to see more of the Flash and Batman's relationship after the events of Justice League, while Affleck gets a proper send-off for what is reportedly his last time as the Caped Crusader.
You're the Batman?
So you're fast.
You said that like it explains why there's a total stranger in my place. It's not me.
But what happens once Barry changes the timeline? Well, Affleck's Batman is replaced by a rather iconic figure. At least, that's how it works in the first Flashpoint. It looks like Barry has made it to Tim Burton's Batman universe without meaning to, but it makes sense that this is the Batman of Flashpoint, since the old movies never showed any sign that metahumans existed in that universe, and judging from the shots of Wayne Manor and the Batcave, it looks like Keaton's Bruce has turned into an old Howard Hughes. I mean, you can't really blame him. Man's almost 70 years old.
Barry Allen. Bruce Wayne. I'll try to keep up.
Can I keep this?
Everyone also got a peek at Keaton's armory and some of his old Batsuits, and to my surprise, he's still in great shape even after all these years. I also remember how it was difficult for him to move his head in the classic suit, but obviously those days are long gone. Well, here's to hoping I get to see a fight scene as memorable as Ben Affleck's attack on the warehouse in Batman vs. Superman. It also looks like Keaton's Bruce finally made himself a new Batwing to replace the one that the Joker destroyed in the 1989 Batman movie. I wonder how much he has upgraded since then.
If I can't undo what I did,
Are you in?
Though since the Keatons the topic of discussion right now, that brings me to the next question: what role will Keaton's Batman play in the film? Well, it's clear that he'll be a big part of the Flash movie. This will also be the first time in 31 years that Keaton plays the part again, after his role in Batman Returns. And I think after Barry gets stuck in a world where the Justice League doesn't exist, Keaton's Batman will be one of the main heroes to help him. You see, in many ways, Keaton's Batman will play the same role as Thomas Wayne in the original Flashpoint comic. And even though the Flash movie isn't entirely based on the Flashpoint, it's clear it draws heavy inspiration from the comic book storyline. On top of this, Keaton's different suits show that Bruce has been fighting crime for a long time. Well, I hope this movie hints at what this Batman has been up to since 1992, but one can only hope. And all of this points to one thing and one thing only: The Flash will surely reset the DC universe, while Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which comes out later this year, will help the franchise end on a big note. And with only a few months to go, it looks like The Flash will be one of the most popular superhero movies of 2023. That's it from my end. See you in the next video.